As a front-end developer, you must know how to make use of an API, how you can interact with an API. So an API is basically application programming interface. Okay, it also stands as a mediator, okay, or as a middleman between the front end and also the back end. All right. So with this API, you can send something to the back end, and you can also receive from the back end and then display it on your browser to your users. Okay, so for today's practice and today's tutorial, we are going to look at how we can make use of an API to get something from the back end. And what you're gonna get today on the back end is just these things. As you can see here, I have this array of objects, and I got this right from JSON placeholder.cpcode.com/photos. So it's just having album ID, is having just normal ID, a title, a URL. Okay, if I go ahead to search for this URL, I'll just copy this. Let's see what we have in the URL. That's the image we have. I will send it here. Okay, this is actually what I have here. Nothing serious, nothing much. Okay, you just showing 600 by 600 image. Okay, so we're going to see how we can get this thing, a thing as this. Okay, and then it's really much here. It's really much. Okay, I think it's up to 5,000 or so. Okay, so let's see how we can display, about 5,000. Let's see how we can display all these on our browser. Okay, let's say that the back end is giving you this, because definitely they are gonna give it to you in this format. So let's say back end is returning this for you, and you as a front end developer, you must know how to interpret this and then show a user what he should see. Right? Yeah, you must know how to do this and then show a user a well customized web, because a user is not really gonna understand it when you begin to show him something like this, right? But you as a developer, we must know how to interpret this and then translate it into a readable format. Okay, let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, first of all, we need to understand how the structure of the API. This is an API, right? So we need to understand the structure of the API. From what I'm seeing here, the API structure is basically an array of objects that is having a key and value pair. All right, so having IDs and then a title with just two URLs. Okay, so the first one is just a normal URL, and the second one is just a thumbnail URL. So let's just go ahead and see what we have in the thumbnail URL. Okay, I'll just go ahead and type in this and then paste this right now, and it's showing me just 150 by 150 as you can see right now. Okay, and what I'm gonna do right now is just go ahead and create, let's say this is a post. Okay, so I want to show the users, and right on my homepage, I want to show it everything on my homepage. So what am I gonna do right now? I'll just go ahead and say, okay, let's create, okay, I can just say under my components, let's create a post component. I'll just create a folder called it post. Okay, it's gonna be a post component, and here inside here I'm just gonna say postcard. Okay, so I'm just gonna create this postcard as it is .js, and I'm just gonna do RFCE so that it can give me an auto template here. Okay, and I'm also gonna create a CSS file for it because I want to style it a little bit, just a little bit, and I'm just gonna do postcard.css. Remember, we do not have this currently. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and create it by just clicking on this post folder and then clicking on this plus icon and then saying postcard as it is .css. So I think so far so good, we are cool. So what I want to do right now is to begin to design this my postcard. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna pass this, and then I'm gonna say .postcard .post__ card. Okay, this is gonna serve as a class name, and inside this postcard, what do I have? I have an ID, an album ID, and I have a normal ID. Okay, so I also have a picture. All right, I also have a picture. So what I'm gonna do right now is to go ahead and say this is a postcard. Inside the postcard, I'm just going to say post image, okay, something like this. I'm just gonna add a dot before it so that it can give me what I need. Yes, post image. Inside here I'm just gonna have this image, right? So also I'm just gonna have I can just say dot main image okay, main underscore image. Okay, all these designs are not really necessary, but then they just go ahead and do that. And then I'm just gonna do thumbnail. Okay, thumb, and then now remember we have two images. I'm just trying to consume the API that we have, right? So just follow through and understand what I'm doing. I will also go ahead and enter the image here. So this main image is going to have my main image, which is this URL here, and then the thumbnail is going to have this particular one. Okay, so far so good. I think I have done something good. And two more things I'm gonna do right now is to go ahead and say let me save this first. Okay, I'll collapse this post image, and then I can now have post description dot post, and then I can just say description, something like this. And outside this post description we should have a title, right? I'm just gonna say title, and then I'm just gonna point it to be title, right? And just say image title. Okay, I'm just gonna use aesthetic something for now, but then we will change it as we progress. And I can just come here and say a p of let's just say let's see that our API one more time. Okay, it says the album ID. I can just copy this and I will say in my program, I'll just go ahead and say album ID. I can just type in something randomly and say 1, and also go ahead and say just a plain ID. If I need it actually, I'll just say 1 also. And so far so good. I think we have been able to actualize what we need to do. So if you notice, you will understand that I just tried to consume the API I was seeing. Okay, so I had just 1 2 3 4 5 only 5 data here, right? In this and one object here. Okay, only 5 keys and then values. All right, every other thing remains the same. All right, it's just that they are being dynamically passed. Okay, every other thing remains the same. Just look at one of them and then focus on your design. Forget about how many they are at a time. Just forget about it. Just focus on one and get a structure, because everything here, the structure remains the same. Okay, so I just have to look at one of them and then walk to the structure. I have my album ID, my normal ID, my title URL, and thumbnail URL. As you can see, I have my ID, my normal ID, my album ID, my title, okay, my thumbnail URL, and then also this. Okay, so I think we have an image somewhere in our program, so I'll just go ahead and check out where it is. I think it's somewhere here and then here. So I can just copy this developer image so that we can just use it inside both of these. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and do something like this. I will command V. All right, I'll just go ahead and paste this and it will import that. Okay, I'll just put it here also, and then I will save this file. Now when I send this file, nothing is really gonna happen on the web. Okay, and you just have to think why it's not happening. Of course, it's because we have not really added it to our homepage. So all I'm gonna do right now is to go ahead and come to the homepage, and I will say let's just add this here by saying postcard. Okay, I will just call this component and I'll look for it. Look at it here, postcard, and it's auto imports on top, and then I'll just go ahead and then close this. Okay, as easy as that can be. So when I do this, it tries to complete the load, and when it's done loading, I'll just go ahead and check out my browser, and as you can see, I just have everything displayed right here. But this is not just what I want to display. Okay, remember we added the CSS file, so therefore I will just need to go ahead and style this. Okay, I just need to go ahead and style this, and then I'll just need to come here and come to the postcard. Let's just do a quick styling. Okay, let's do a width of let's just give it a width of 50% for now. Let's add the background color so we can see what we are doing. Background color of yellow for now. Okay, So look at what I have so far, and I'm just gonna say the image. Remember, we have image somewhere, post image, okay, and then main image. So I'm just gonna say, let me just drag this thing and keep it somewhere here. Besides, I can click on this and delete it. Click on this and delete it. On this and delete. Okay, let me just remove these ones here because I don't think they are needed right now. Okay, so I will just come here and do something like this post image, remember? And then inside this post image, I can decide to say the width to be 100%. Let's see how it goes. And let's come back and check it out. Nothing happens. Let's target our image itself. I can just say target the image, still make the width of 100%. Let's see how it goes. Okay, and yeah, and you can even try to increase the height from here. You can just add a height. Let's say we don't add a height here. Okay, let me just add that height on this particular one. Let's say, okay, we have post image and then main image, remember? So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna say let's still add a height here. If it's not okay, we're gonna remove it, but let's just add a height here. Let us say the height is 100 ex, okay, and then we can now come and say dot post image, dot post image here, the post image, and then we have main, right? So I think I have main image. I'm gonna copy this and then come here. I will say main image, and then I'm just going to make the height of this particular one to be 100% of whatever thing we have here, and what we have here is just basically 100 pixels. So let's just see how it goes for now. Okay, so this is basically what we have for now. Okay, let's comment out this also. Just want to check out something. Okay, great. So what I'm gonna do right now is to add this height. Let's just take out this. Let's add this height here. Okay, let's just add this height here. Let's see how it goes now. Okay, I'm just gonna increase it a bit and then say this. Let's just see, because I just want to make the main height of the image to stand out other than the other one. Okay, so I'm just gonna say height here also. Okay, I'm gonna say height, and let's say something like instead of going for post image and then this, I'm just gonna do post image and then this. Okay, before the main image. All right, so I'm just gonna make this one to come down. Okay, great. All right, and then I'm just going to make the height here of the main image also 100%. 100% of what this one is currently. So great, this is what I need to have. Okay, remember what I'm working on is the main image. I have not pushed the thumbnail, remember? So what I'm gonna do right now to go ahead for the thumbnail, I'm just gonna say so far so good. The thumbnail is really okay, but we don't really know how what the size is gonna be from where we're gonna call from the API. So we just need to on our own add a specified size to it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is just look at my work, and I will say this is post image and then thumbnail. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come here and then say post image, then dot thumbnail, remember? Okay, the thumbnail, and just go straight to the image. Maybe I'll just go straight to the image. I'll just say just give me a height of 200 pixels. Maybe 200 pixels is too much. I'll just go ahead and say give me a height of 60 pixels, and then also a width of 60 pixels. Okay, because I want it to, you know, a thumbnail is not meant to be large enough. Okay, so we're just saying width here to be 60 pixels, and you can work with whatever thing you want to work with. All right, so this is actually what I want to work with for the sake of this tutorial. And so far so we'll look at what we have here, and I can even decide to make it 100 by 100 this time around. Okay, 100 by 100, and then I can even decide to copy this thumbnail for div, and then come here and I will just say give me a margin, up and down margin. Okay, so up and down margin of 10 pixels, and then left and right of 0, so there can be a little bit spacing from the boats, as you can see. All right, this is so far so good, nice. Okay, so this is just the image title. I'll just go ahead and remember I do something small. That's what we are trying to do right now. Okay, I'll just go ahead and create the image title. I can just say under post description, I have my title. Okay, I can just say come to this point. Under post description, I can just say title, and I can just make the font size thing should be probably 23 zeros. Let's see how it goes for now. And this is what we have. We can just try to capitalize it by saying text transform. Okay, is something like this, and then it should try to come up text transform to capitalize, and then you can even do a font weight of bold. Okay, let's just try to make everything bold by just doing something like this. And so far so good. This is what I have, and it's looking nice already. Okay, if I just go ahead and remove this background color of this. Okay, let me just make this thing to be 30 so that it can just reduce. Okay, and let's say we just add a background color of another color. Let's just make something else. Okay, so that we can know, yeah, something like this, just for the sake of this tutorial, right? Yeah, so this is just what we have. Let's assume this is the main image, this is the thumbnail, this is the image title, this is the ID, and then the other ID, right? Something like this is enough. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is remember, I'm not expecting only one image or only one card, so I can just for test purposes, I can just go ahead. Okay, let's just say for now, let's leave for now. I'll just go ahead and come to this place. What I will now do is come to this place, rather come to your home, copy this postcard. You can post it several times right now. Okay, you can just add it several times, and then let's see what we have. We have it several places, right? And I'm just gonna do one more thing. I'm going to say I'm just gonna say under my home, I'm gonna have posts. Okay, I'm gonna have this, and then I'm gonna have this. Okay, so why I need to do this is because I need to flex it. Okay, I need to flex it. So I'll just go ahead and come to my home page here, and I'll just do something like import dot/home.css. Okay, home.css, and I need to create it by clicking on this place and then doing something like home.css. Remember, we have not even come to the main deal of the day, which is APIs. I'm just trying to walk through the basic down to the main thing. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and click on this and save this file. Everything is okay up to this point. So I will need to come and copy this post and come to my home.css and then read this to display it flex. Okay, to display it flex so that everything will now be flexed on one row. Okay, as you can see, everything is now flexed on one row. But so far so good, I didn't want to make it 3 items on a row. So how am I gonna do that? I'm just going to say come here and then just do flex wrap of wrap. Okay, flex wrap of wrap, and then allow items to the center for me, and then finally I can just say justify content to space between. Alright, space between rather. Space between. So far so good. This is what I have. Okay, this is what I have, and I think to an extent it's looking nice. Yeah, just a basic website, right? So I think I'm okay right now. So what am I gonna do next? I'm not gonna say let's do something. We just need to install what we need to use to make an interaction with our API. Okay, so how is that gonna be? I'm just gonna say yarn add as use as this. So we just need to allow it to install. Axios is the package that you are gonna make use of in order to make an interaction with the API out there. Okay, so let's see how it goes. I will just allow it to install. It's not really gonna take much of our time. Okay, and right now I believe it have installed. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so after that, you can just check out your packages and to make sure that it have installed correctly. I'll click on this packages and then under dependencies, this will show you everything that we have been installing so far. So look at it here. I'm using Azios 1.7.4 as at the time of recording this video. Okay, so I'll just come here under my postcard. Okay, under my postcard, what I'm gonna do is to come here. Remember, the essence is so that I don't use a static, yeah, I don't use a static image in our work. Okay, so how am I gonna do that? Let's say you are coming to your home. Let's first of all take out this for now. Okay, I don't need to have this several times. Okay, I don't need to have this several times. What I'm gonna do right now is to there are several ways to do it, but I'm just looking out for a better way for us to make use of it. Okay, so let's just say I'm gonna do it right here. Okay, then let's just say I'm gonna do it right here, and I'm gonna say cost of let's say cost of posts. Okay, and then I'm gonna set, I'm just trying to get a variable for it, set posts to be equal to a new state. Of course, I'm gonna import this, and remember the new state of our post. Let me just delete this. The state of our post initially was an array. If you can remember, just come back to this point and then click on this. It will show you this is an array, right? Yeah. So since it's an array, that is just gonna be our new states. Okay. So next I'm gonna do is to create a function to get the post. Okay. To get a function to get the post, I'll just go ahead and say cost of get post. Okay, so I'm just gonna do something like this. It's going to be an asynchronous function. Okay, by doing just adding async to that. Okay, and then coming to this point and saying constant of my response. Okay, I can just say response. I can just call it res or response. Okay, this is a way to make the interaction. Then I'm just going to await. Okay, await, and I'm going to await the Azios. Remember, we have Azios, and then I'm just gonna click on it so it can import. On top here, it has imported. So what am I gonna do? I need to get something. I need to get Azios. To make a request, you can post. Remember, you can put, you can patch, and everything. But remember, for the sake of this tutorial, we're just gonna get something from an API. So I'm just gonna make use of what get. Okay, so now the next thing that follows is the URL. As you can see here, it says the URL of a thing, the URL of the place you want to get it from. So far so good. This is the URL of what I'm gonna get from. So I'll just go ahead and copy this. Okay, I'll copy it and then paste it here, and after that I'll just try and console.log. I'll console.log my what response and then dot data. Something like this is enough. Sorry, inside here dot data. Okay, before that I will just need to introduce some try and catch block. Okay, try and catch blocks because it's going to help us to catch an error. Okay, so right here it just a try here with a function and then with a block of code rather, and then a catch as a function with a block of code. Okay, so I'm just going to console.log an error. I will say there was an error here. Okay, I will just come here and say error. I will log out the error, and then inside this try block I'm now going to paste out what we have initially. Okay, so I think lastly we just need to call this function, and how am I gonna call it? I'm going to introduce us to another hook, which is known as use effects hook. Okay, it's also coming from React. As you can see, it's coming from the same place use state is coming from. So I'm just gonna apply it this way so that it can enable me to run this function immediately I load the page. Remember what I said? Immediately I load the page, this thing will call, and I want it to call only once. That is why I will need to call with a comma here and add a bracket, open and close here. Okay, so let me just say it again. I say that use effect is what is used to run anything at all. a particular task, and immediately the page loads. So let's say immediately I come to this home page, this particular thing will run. Now, what is this particular thing? It is just to call this, make a request to the API. Okay, it's going to make a request to the API, and then where is it making to? It's making a request to this place. And how many times is it going to run? It's just going to run once because I am adding an empty dependency. This is called a dependency. So I'm adding an empty dependency. Okay, so let's just go ahead and click on it and save it. And remember, I'm trying, if this is successful, I will get a response.data. That is, response.data is going to consist of whatever thing that is found inside of this place. Okay, now if it's not successful, it will now come back to this error. It will now catch this error. So that is basically what this try and catch means. It's going to first of all try this. If it's successful, then it will now do the next thing you tell it to do. But if it's not successful, it will now go ahead and catch the error. Okay, we are catching the error as error, and then we are displaying the error right here. So I will just come to my browser here, and I will right click and then click on inspect, and I will go to my console, and let me go ahead and refresh this. As you can see on my terminal, that's on my console rather, I am having this 5,000 data. Okay, remember this thing here was actually 5,000. So that means the console.log is actually correct. That means this. Okay, if you can check it out, it's saying in line 14, and when you come to your console, it's also featuring in your word line 14, meaning that this call was correct. Okay, so when you try to expand, you begin to see the data. As you can see, the first data here is actually telling you everything we have right here. Okay, so I think so far so good. This has been it. And then lastly is how we can try to now from here, since we are making the right calling, let's see how we can now translate these things into what the web can see. Okay, so how am I gonna do that? I'm just going to come back here and say let's do something. I'll just go ahead and say I'll take out this for now and cut it out. Okay, after cutting it out, I'm just gonna do post in a JSS. Okay, because it's an array, remember, so I need to map it. Since it is an array, I need to map it so that it can catch individual item and display for me. Just follow me through. I'll just say post.map this way, and then I'll just take it as a normal post, and then I can have an index. and have it this way, and immediately I'm passing this, and then I'm doing a return statement here and something like this. I can equally have a fragment. A fragment is basically an element without anything at all. Okay, and then I can now post in my post. Okay, so far so good. When I do this, let's see what we will have. Okay, so it's going to give me this, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to give me this, the number of times post is, but so far so good, post is just empty. Okay, so let's see what we have. Just follow me through. I believe you understand later. So it is actually showing me 0. Okay, because so far so good, post is 0, right? I'm trying to map this post here, right? I'm trying to map this post here, and so far it is actually empty. So I need to now say, whenever I make a request to this place, now set my post. Okay, as you can see, I'm doing set post now. Set my post to, what am I going to set it to? I'm going to set it to response.data. Just this thing I'm having here. Okay, response.data. Since the response.data in my console gave me a direct array, okay, that is why I will just go ahead and set my post to what? Response.data. Okay, so when this, we're gonna reload this one more time, but just check out this. It says here, each child in a list should have a unique key. Well, and this is because we need to pass. We just need to pass in something here. Okay, let's just say we're gonna pass in. Let's say we have a div here. Okay, we must need to pass in a key here. Okay, whenever you are mapping, you must need to pass in a key. I'll just say index. So I will just go back here and just do something like this. So we are no longer using a fragment because I need to pass a key. And when you check out this again, if I load this, it will no longer display the key error. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it's taking a while to load. So let's see. Okay, it have just loaded right now. Yeah, it have just loaded right now. As you can see, it's no longer showing us the error of key and whatever thing, and that is one. Secondly, notice that we now have these items displayed on our web. Okay, if I try to shut down this, notice you now have these items being displayed on our web. Okay, and how many are they? If you try to count it, they are actually 5,000. So it's what happened is that the post we had, remember we had post to be empty initially. So after we made a call, we had to set our post to whatever response.data we have. Okay, and then we now had to make a okay, now to make a map call here. All right, yeah, we have to make a map call here, and then we displayed our postcard. So this postcard is going to display whatever thing we have in that postcard, the number of times this post appeared, and the number of times it appeared was actually 5,000. So everything here was just going to display 5,000. Okay, all right. So this is only showing my static post. All right, this is only showing my static post. Now, how can we now translate these things? And instead of it showing my my static post, it should go ahead and show everything I have with respect to what I have here instead. Okay, let's proceed. What I would do, beside, I think the styling has shrunk a bit, but that is not really an issue for now. We're gonna fix that later. What I will do right now is just come here in my postcard. Okay, in my postcard, remember we are using a static developer image. So how am I gonna stop this thing from using a static developer image? What I'm gonna do right now is to say, okay, let's do this. Let's say we are gonna pass a prop. Okay, we're gonna pass a prop and we're gonna call it a post. Okay, yeah, we're gonna call it a post. So let's make it this way. Let's use a main image, something like this, main img as a prop, comma, thumbnail as a prop, comma, title as a prop, comma. We have album ID and the number ID. You can just say AID as a prop, comma, and then number ID as a prop. All right. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm going to pass everything as a prop. Instead of making use of a static one, I'm just going to pass everything as a what? A prop. So how am I gonna go about that? Instead of my developer image, what I'm gonna do right now is I will now use my main image here, the one I have as a prop. Instead of my developer image again, I'm just going to use a thumbnail here. Okay, just keep passing it that way, and then in your title, just pass a fragment. A JSS, and then place in title. Okay, and instead of album ID here, just say AID here. Okay, instead of one here, I'm just gonna say ID here. So far, this is exactly what we need. Okay, we have just destructured. All right. What we did here was just to destructure. We destructured this thing and we say expect so and so from us whenever we call this component anywhere we're going to call it. And where are we going to call it? We're going to call it in our home. And look at where I have called it. Now, if you hover on this now, it now tells you that you're actually expecting so many things. What is it actually expecting? It's expecting a main image, a thumbnail, a title, an AID, and an ID. Right? So if I come to my browser one more time and check out these, it should no longer display to me the images. Okay, why is it not displaying to me the images? Because we no longer have any other thing right now, right? We no longer have any other thing. So how can we now make it catch what we need to catch? So let's still go back to our console, or let me just teach you. Just go back to your console. Okay, click on that your console. You can just decide to expand this if you wish. Okay, when I click on this console, remember we have an array of 5,000 images. I'm just focusing on one. Just focus on one, everything will go align. Okay, so we have thumbnail URL and we have a normal URL. So how am I going to pass this prop into what we have already destructured here? So all I'm gonna do for main img, okay, I'm just gonna copy that. For main img, I'll just come into this place. I will say for main img become equal to this post. Remember we are working on individual post, so when I say this post, okay, when I say this post dot, okay, dot url, okay, remember this post is actually the total 5,000. Now this post as one is considered as one post. Okay, the post totally is just 5,000. Now one post is considered as this post you are seeing here. So I'm now passing the main URL, the main image, as what? One post. What is my one post? What does it have? It's actually an object that has what? URL. Okay, so the same thing happens to title. Okay, before that, let's just go ahead and pass thumbnail. I'm just gonna say okay, for this one, just become post.what? Thumbnail. I think it's not just thumbnail, it's here thumbnail URL. Thumbnail URL. Okay, for the next one, I'm just gonna pass in a title. Okay, remember as I'm writing it, it's actually showing me because it's recognized. We already destructured it in our out there. Okay, I'm just gonna pass what? Post.title. Okay, next one is to go ahead and pass in the ID, right? Yeah, ID. I'll just say for the ID, number ID, I'll just say post.id. Okay, I think the last one is just the ID for me. And what is it on the other end? I'll just go ahead and check it out and say album ID. Okay, just make sure you're placing it as it is, like you are writing whatever thing you're seeing on that console. Dot ID, album ID, rather album ID, something like this. And I'm having a problem here because on my title I didn't add an equal to. So I think so far this is what I need to have. Okay, this is what I need to have. I was saying that my main image, instead of using a static one, is going to be whatever thing that is the post URL. Then the thumbnail image is going to be whatever thing that is the thumbnail URL, and the title and everything same. Now let's look at our web and see what we're gonna have so far. Okay, I've closed that, and it's of course it makes use of internet, and it have just loaded currently. Okay, so as you can see, we are now seeing our web being displayed, but they are not really organized. If we can check it out, at least we are having everything dynamic. Okay, we are having everything dynamic. Okay, except for this album ID. Let's see what we have here. AID should be album. All right, album ID, something like this. Okay, the album ID was not showing, so we need to make it show. Okay, I think it should come up anytime soon. Okay, why that is still trying to get itself come up, let's just make sure that we are getting the right spelling by coming here and say okay, album ID. I think the spelling is wrong from my end. Just make sure you are getting it right. Album ID. As soon as you get it right, it will just go ahead and come up. I think it should come up this time around. Let's see. Okay, why that is still checking out to come up. Okay, let me just go ahead and refresh this. Let me see. I will refresh it and know if it can come up. Okay, next I'm gonna do right now, which is gonna be the last, basically, is to just go ahead and make sure that everything is aligned properly. Okay, I've reloaded this web and it's going to make the call. You know, the files are too much. Okay, they are really too much. That's why it's delayed to show up. Okay, and here you can see the album ID is now being displayed. Okay, and what I'm gonna do right now is to say, for this my images, notice that all of them are not really showing the same size. So I'm just gonna say let's just say something like in our card CSS, let's get our image, which is this. Is showing me 100%. Okay, that is actually the easy. So what I'm gonna do here is I am using height 100%, height 200% to add pixels instead of here to be width. Okay, let's see if that will solve the problem. If it doesn't solve it, we can still go ahead and refix that. Okay, let's still say, yeah, I don't think it solved the problem. Okay, now let's go ahead and check out this container that is having this background color by just going somewhere here. This is it showed me 30. Okay, show me 30, and then I think that 30 is okay, is enough, it's okay, really okay. And then this width here, let's say we manually add, but let's make it of pixels. Let's see how it will be. Let's say pixels, 400 pixels as a width. Okay, that should be the width. Let us see what happens so far. Okay, and it is not reflecting. I don't know why. I'm just trying to load this. If it doesn't work out, I'll just go ahead and use inspect, and then we can debug that together. But I think what we need for API is just done. I just need to, yeah, it's actually reflecting. Okay, it's actually reflecting. But here is now showing me shorter. Okay, I just need to fix that. All I need to do is to come here, instead of 30%, let's still make use of 400 pixels. In our case, maybe you can just fix that by making use of any of your choice, any size of your choice. Let's just make use of 400 pixels. I just want this background color to come over this side, okay, to occupy the page, and it's not really refreshing at once. I don't know why. Let's just try to manually refresh that. Okay, and let's see what we have so far. Okay, it's taking a while to load because the file is too much. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want to have. Okay, so we have just fixed that. I just had to make use of instead of making use of percentage, I just had to make use of just a normal native width other pixels. Okay, I just make use of pixels, and then everything was just settled out. I added the width here, and then made the width of this to be the same with this, and as you can see, everything is working just perfectly well. Okay, so far so good. This is how we can make an interaction from an API and display it right on our web. Okay, so I know you might be wondering why this and when we need it. Okay, you're gonna need it almost every time. Sincerely, you're gonna need it almost every time. Imagine when you want to display display posts. Okay, what's display post on your browser? We are display post. If I imagine this to be a post, a news, okay, more like a news website. You're creating a news website. Imagine it to be like this now. Okay, this is actually how we are gonna make the interaction from the API. Okay, so I will also urge you to go ahead and see this video once again so that you can be able to understand this properly, because this is the this is what stands as a middleman when it comes to back end and the front end. Thank you for joining, and see you right in the next episode.